This one is going to be, this is the sequential process in which I put this together, these videos coming from the Clipperdome Chronicles from conception to completion. Putting these videos together, it took me some time. I appreciate the calls and the emails and all the thoughts and everybody was trying to help me put it together. So now with this one, we want to go through each one of the videos in the sequential process to kind of help you understand why I did it the way that I did it and the calls that we get most of the time, the things that we need to handle on a regular basis. In our relationships in the barbershop and the hair salon, with the research that we have done, this is the things that come up most often. So what we did was extract all that information and all that data, and then we want to put it into topics. So we want to start off with the history. Video number 1 is the history. What is your history? What is your success rate? How well have you done in relationships? Do you know your history first before you start trying to get with somebody else and have a healthy, viable relationship? Do you know your history with relationship, where you need to strengthen yourself? Video number 2, do you understand if you're with a man or a woman, a young lady or a young man, or a boy or a girl? You must understand the definition of the people or the person whom you are speaking. If it is a little girl and you expect for her to be in a woman's position, then you are off and you're going to have a very difficult time with that situation, that relationship. If the woman is with a boy and he or she could be of age and they can have the proper genitalia and be over 21, okay? We're not talking about children, we're talking about titles. These are titles: man, woman, young lady, young man, boy. These are different titles, they are not age groups. Number 3, we want to say knowledge versus experience. Your knowledge, you could read up on relationships, you could watch DVDs, you could talk to a lot of people until you have experience, and then you pit it with your knowledge. That will probably deem you to be more successful in your relationships coming up in the future. In the past, you can have a whole lot of knowledge, or you could just have a lot of experience. You need them both to combine to have the best shot at having something healthy and long term. Number 4, the perception versus reality. If you can understand that your perception can come from your culture, from your background, from your history, from what you learned from your family, that does not dictate what the reality of the situation is with him or her. So you have to understand the perception versus reality. Video number 5, that was the 666s. That one was for the ladies. Ladies, the 666s was just converted. It was just a little twist on it. The 666s can constitute what we might call the devil for the woman. That means he could be 6 feet tall. That means he could have a 6-pack, and he could have a 6-figure income, and that could be her devil. Video number 6 is the 24-hour life cycle. Our 24-hour life cycle, we all live this. We all have that 24 hours, whether it be work or school, you have to get up and do something to be productive. Then we have to go to sleep to get up to complete the same pattern the next day, or to do whatever needs to be done for the next 24 hours. That was video number 6. Video number 7, again, that was for the ladies. That was the power versus possessions. The power versus possessions video was talking about the ladies who, because the woman has the power. Okay, that's a fact. That's off the top. Now, when the woman had the power, does she trade that in for her possessions? Because our sisters and our elders of the past, those women had power, but they didn't have a lot of possessions. So we want to look into that video and have you take a look at that one if you haven't seen it. Video number 8 is the independent woman can repel a man. She doesn't intimidate him. The independent woman can repel a man. She does not intimidate him, because the man is hardwired to be with the woman in a certain capacity at his core. And the same thing with the woman. There is an order and there are positions and titles in the relationship, and there are expectations on the man and the woman. And if the sister want to go out and get the 6-figure income and she wants to be the CEO, that's fine. That's beautiful. The brothers are applauding that. But we also can repel him. It's not an intimidation factor because he wants something soft and sweet and you want something hard and firm. So when you start to become hard and firm, that will repel the man. That will not intimidate him. Video number 9. That was the point versus the facts. You can have a very valid point with not enough facts, and the facts can negate your point. Or you can have a lot of good facts, but be off the point. So the translation, again, the communication could be lost in translation. So we want to make sure that we have the same point, because you can have a lot of facts, but if it's off the point, then it negates your facts. Video number 10. You must become uncomfortable to become comfortable. That's an example we can give for that video. It's like when we were working out. A lot of times you will be sore. You may need to stretch the first 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 months. And then when you get to that comfort zone and you hit that groove and that rhythm, and then you start to work out and then you don't feel the pain the same, it's starting to feel good, and it's kind of like a slight addiction. It makes you, it gets you getting the blood flowing. It gives you more energy during the day. Video number 11. Are we living above correction? That is one about our children and ourselves in relationships. Are you too much of an adult, or are you too intelligent? Are you too wealthy to be corrected? Do you sit in a seat or a position to where it's hard for somebody to tell you when you're right and when you're wrong? Living in above correction is a problem, and it's trickling down to our children, our toddlers, our youth. Number 12. The video number 12 is we're living in a feel-good right now society. We're living in a society where if you don't make me feel good right now, then I don't have to listen to you or accept what you're trying to tell me. Because we're living in that feel-good right now society, we must be careful, because we're not going to always feel good with what we're doing. We have to go through some strides, some trials and tribulations, and we are going to be uncomfortable to become comfortable. And that will keep us from living in a feel-good right now society on a continuous basis. We don't want to, video number 13 was, we don't want to fantasize or idealize about a relationship. We don't want to have a fantasy or a dream in our head that doesn't match the reality of the situation or the relationship in which we are in. It's okay to have a fantasy, and it's okay to have ideal situations, but we must be realistic, and we don't want to take that too far to the left with the idealizing and the fantasizing of the relationship, because that's going to not be productive for you or your spouse. Video number 14. It is good. It's okay to have a good idea, but you can have an irrational outcome. You can have one of the best ideas in the world and use it at the wrong time or in the wrong place, and then it becomes irrational. So in our relationships, we can approach it with the best intentions. We can have the best plan in the world, but then it becomes irrational because we have to connect that to the person, the situation, the timing, the environment, and the direction that you both are trying to move in. How is that relationship structured? Manhood was video number 15, and that was in 2 parts. Manhood was about the different levels of man. That was for the brothers. We were talking about, the example was basketball, and how we had people who would play basketball in the neighborhood. Then you have people who play basketball for high school, college, the pros, the MVP, up to the Hall of Fame, and so on and so forth. So it was just a video about an elevated man. There are different levels to manhood. Every man is created equal as far as flesh and blood, but there are different levels in relationships to different men and different women. Video number 16. That one was called accepted, but it is not okay. It's things that we accept in relationships, but it's not okay for that person, your spouse, or your husband, or your wife, or the significant other to do these things to you. Something that's accepted, but that is not okay, could be a man or a woman messing up the money, where they have their spouse, wife, husband is working hard to go get the money, but then at the end of the day, the bills come up short because him or her is mismanaging the funds. That can be accepted in a relationship. People will stay together, but that is not okay. Video number 17. That one also came in 2 parts. So that was 17 and 18. That was the surface and core conversation. So a surface conversation versus a core conversation. So you don't want to have a surface conversation when somebody is speaking from the core. So if someone's being general on the surface, you don't want to be specific and have a core conversation, because you're going to miss each other. And your translation is going to definitely be lost in communication. So the surface and core conversations, those videos came in 2 parts. So video number 20, who is the man and who is the woman? That video was about men and women, and it was speaking in terms of how we're social creatures by nature, how we were designed to be social creatures. We were put together to be together and be social and socialize. What are those roles? What do they look like? And how does that break down from our primal instinct up to our highest elevation as far as consciousness, intelligence, and interaction in relationships? Video number 21. Why are you there? That video was about being accountable. Accountability. When you are in a relationship, we like to talk about the other person and what they did, but very rarely do we talk about our faults and flaws in the relationship. So we'll tell our mother, brother, sister, cousin, uncle, mom, and dad what he or she did to us, but we don't talk about what we did to them and our part that we played in it. Sometimes people are just responding or reacting to what you did, and they didn't really do anything at all but respond to your negativity that you put into the situation. Video number 22, the last one, is he said, she said. So that is talking about translation and communication. It's saying how a man could walk up to a woman and ask for her phone number, and what he's actually asking for is just sex, possibly. When the woman gives him her phone number, what she could be actually just saying to him is, I want to get married and I'm looking for a husband. So the he said, she said is just talking about communication and translation, and how sometimes we miss each other in the different exchanges and the ebbs and flows of relationships. So now we went from 1 to 22. So this is video number 23, because it's a sequential process. I put this together from over the last 10 years of the research and over the last 30 years of talking to people. So this came together because last week I had about 10 calls from men, 3 calls from women, and it's getting intense. As far as the videos is going back and forth for people, we need you to comment so we can start the dialogue online. I don't mind taking the calls. You know, I don't have a problem with it. I'm fine with that. You know, we can continue to have those conversations over the phone. But when people share and somebody can hear what you're saying and it won't be interpreted through me, so maybe sometimes you could say something that could spark a conversation that could lead us to another video or give us some more solutions to some common problems. So we want you to take this information. We want you to test this information. We want you to try this information. Take it to the barbershop or the hair salon. Take it to the job or to the church. Thank you. This is the Clipperdome Chronicles.